So every year I like to go over the changes I'm making to my credit card strategy to show you guys exactly what I'm thinking. So with the new year coming up very soon, it's time to go over my new 2025 credit card plan for both myself and my wife Jackie in our two-player setup. Now I've got 5 updates that I want to go over here that are going to basically shape how we approach both earning and redeeming our credit card points in 2025. But to explain all that, we got to go over what happened in 2024 first to sort of set the stage. So in last year's strategy update video, I mentioned that first of all, we were looking to earn more Chase and Bilt points in 2024, and that's because we've been redeeming a lot of those points for Hyatt stays, and we wanted to sort of refresh our balances for that. Chase and Bilt are the only points currencies that transfer over to Hyatt, and we always like to have Hyatt as a hotel option when we're out traveling, just because their reward prices make them a super consistent way to get great value. For airline transfers, that's where we like to lean more on Capital One miles and Amex and City points, and we're not redeeming points for every single flight and every single hotel stay, but usually if we're getting at least 2 cents per point in redemption value, that's when we do try to use our points. Now, in terms of our success with earning more Chase and Bilt points over the past year, with Bilt we earned around 45,000 points, and that's going to be mostly from our rent spending because we did upgrade our apartment to a 3-bedroom place back in March, and that now runs us around $3,300 and earns around 3,300 Bilt points per month. We also use the Bilt card for a few other subscriptions and other things like our gym membership, which mostly get charged on the first day of the month to take advantage of the double points feature on Bilt's rent day promotion. So yeah, for us to earn around 45,000 Bilt points worth around $900 at 2 cents per point towards Hyatt transfers, all on a no annual fee card, we view that as a huge win. Now, my wife Jackie and I are looking to eventually buy a home instead of renting, so I'll talk more about that as we get into our 2025 strategy later on here. But another really cool thing with Bilt now is that they've directly announced in a recent letter from their CEO that earning points on mortgages is something that's coming soon in 2025. So we'll see what happens with that, but that could be great news as Jackie and I hopefully eventually transition from paying rent to paying a mortgage. For Chase points, we really had 3 main ways that we were going to earn more of those over the past year. So number 1, in late 2023, Jackie got approved for an offer on the Chase Freedom Unlimited that locked her in for 5x back on gas and groceries for the first year on top of a 20,000 point sign-up bonus. Number 2, I also got a new Chase card in late 2023 with the Ink Preferred, where I was able to eventually complete the minimum spend to earn 100,000 points with an offer over on that. And then number 3, around early 2024, I was going to be past the 48-month rule since my last Chase Sapphire bonus on my Sapphire Preferred card, and that meant I was going to try for the Sapphire Reserve to get another bonus. If you watched any of my previous videos, then you know I was successful in getting approved for that, and luckily I was also able to get approved when there was a limited time 75,000 point offer going on for the CSR, so that was another great deal to add to our Chase points balance. Now, the reason I got the Reserve instead of just going for another Sapphire Preferred bonus is because eventually there's going to be a Sapphire Lounge opening at my home airport of Philadelphia in early 2025, and to me, having access to that lounge with the CSR is going to be well worth the effective annual fee of $250 after the $300 travel credit is used on that card. So yeah, between my Sapphire Reserve and Ink Preferred bonuses, as well as Jackie's Freedom Unlimited offer, and then all the other personal and business spend that we put on our Chase credit cards, we probably earned at least over 250,000 Chase points worth over $5,000 towards Hyatt transfers, again at that 2 cent per point target redemption value. Now, the next thing that I talked about last year in my 2024 strategy video was that I plan to product change, get a retention offer, or possibly even cancel my Amex Business Gold card that I opened in mid-2023, and the main reason I was looking to get rid of that card is because American Express made some pretty big changes to it. First, they bumped the annual fee from $295 to $375 and added a bunch of credits that didn't really matter to me. And then second, they took away the 25% points rebate feature that previously allowed me to get 25% of my Amex points back when redeeming for flights in first, business, or any class with my selected airlines of American Airlines through Amex Travel. So in 2024, when that card came up for renewal, I tried several times to ask for a retention offer, but didn't have any luck with that. So then I thought about product changing to maybe the Amex Business Platinum card because that card does have a few more valuable credits to me and a 35% points rebate feature that was still active. However, then I found an offer of 190,000 Amex points to get that Business Platinum card as a new account instead. So I just went ahead and canceled the Business Gold card and opened the Business Platinum because that was going to be a much better deal for a card that fit my needs a lot better. Now, in order to get those 190,000 Amex points, I did have to spend $15,000 in 3 months, and normally I don't typically spend that much that quickly within my business at the moment, but luckily because I was moving to a new apartment and I did have to make some pretty big studio upgrades here, I knew I actually was going to have a few one-time expenses that would help me to hit that big welcome offer. So I bought a new camera, a new microphone, a desk, lighting, and a bunch of other stuff here. I got all this tax write-offs on that, and then I pocketed 190K Amex points worth around $3,800 at a target redemption value of 2 cents per point each. Business spending like this has honestly been a huge hack to just level up the amount of credit card points that I'm able to earn, so that's definitely been sort of like a new branch of my whole credit credit card strategy over the past few years. And later on here, I'm going to get into something new that I plan to do with business credit cards in 2025 as well. Now, the next thing that I talked about in my 2024 strategy video last year was that Jackie and I wanted to focus more on redeeming a lot of our points for travel. So I figured that before we go and get into our 2025 strategy, we could just do a quick recap of some of the flights and hotel stays we booked with points over the past 12 months. So first, in January, we hopped over to London in British Airways business class, which I thought was pretty good. And we kind of just spontaneously booked this trip when we saw a 30% transfer bonus from Amex over to British Airways that allowed us to use only 124,000 points for the two of us versus 160,000 points without that transfer bonus. Unfortunately, we did still have to pay $700 out of pocket to cover taxes and fees, which could get pretty expensive when you're flying to the UK, but the cash price was going to be somewhere over $5,000. I don't remember the exact price here to calculate cent per point value, but still a good deal in my book. Then in June, Jackie and I got married and did our honeymoon in Hawaii for 2 weeks, where we were able to fly Hawaiian first class from JFK to Honolulu, which honestly wasn't really anything special just because it was a little bit outdated and we didn't have any Wi-Fi either, but it was still pretty nice to have all that extra legroom for a nearly 10-hour flight each way. We used some Amex points transferred over to Hawaiian to offset the cost of those flights a little bit, but we still had to pay a good amount out of pocket in cash because there wasn't really any Saver award availability, and we also weren't really that flexible in our travel dates. But again, it was our honeymoon and we are fortunate that we had the money for that, so that was sort of our treat to ourselves. Now, once we got to Hawaii, we were able to save on the first hotel stay in Maui by redeeming 270,000 Chase and Bilt points to stay at the Andaz at Wailea Resort, which was my favorite location on the trip. And that was great because the cash price was $6,460, giving us a solid redemption of 2.39 cents per point. After that, we paid cash for the Grand Hyatt Kauai because again, there wasn't any award availability here in the busy vacation month of June. So that was unfortunately another hit to our bank account, but again, we don't always get to use points for everything, so we were fine with paying out of pocket. Then Jackie and I went out to Lake Tahoe in August and stayed at the Hyatt Regency there, which normally would have cost $3,092, but we were able to redeem 145,000 Hyatt points instead for 2.13 cents per point in value, which was another good deal in my eyes. And I highly recommend visiting Lake Tahoe in that area if you've never been there because the views are absolutely amazing. Next, in September, Jackie and I flew from Boston to Amsterdam on JetBlue Mint by finding some award availability through Qatar Airways for 156,000 points plus $186 for the two of us. And the cash price on that would have been $4,239 for a cent per point value of 2.60 cents per point. I definitely recommend JetBlue Mint as a way to get over to Europe, so I would gladly fly that again. And also, Amsterdam was really such a cool city to walk around and explore, and we stayed at the Andaz there as well, which was in a really great location, honestly, and would have cost $2,455, but we redeemed 108,000 Chase and Bilt points instead for around 2.27 cents per point. We took a few other domestic flights and had a few other hotel stays mixed in there as well last year, with some being booked on points and then others booked with cash. But overall, I think we did a really good job of redeeming our points for stuff that we personally valued, and most importantly, we saved a ton of money in the process while still getting to travel. I know we didn't have any crazy 10 plus cent per point redemptions, but honestly, the truth is I'm not going to save my points to wait for all those types of deals every single year because a lot of the times those values are just propped up by overinflated cash prices on flights and hotel stays that really fluctuate up and down anyway. All right, now for 2025, here's the breakdown of the 5 main things that Jackie and I are really going to be focusing on within our new 2-player strategy. And so the first thing here, no surprise, but that's going to be to continue redeeming our points for travel. Right now, Jackie and I like to say that we're making the most of our whole travel era before we think about maybe slowing down and starting a family at some point in the future. So we've really just been going full speed ahead over the past few years with getting a lot of credit cards, earning a lot of points, and then seeing a whole bunch of new places out there in the world while we're still young. That way, obviously, we can then enjoy those memories for the rest of our lives for decades to come. Right now, Jackie and I have trips booked to Cape Town in February with a few business class flights to get over and back from there. We'll be down in Texas for a friend's wedding in March, where we saved a ton of money with a Hyatt hotel stay for that. And then we're also going to be traveling with some friends down to the Bahamas in May as well. The day before filming this video, I also just started booking us on a trip to Switzerland, Milan, and Lake Como in late summer and early fall for 2025, which I'm probably the most excited about. And that trip is going to conclude with a really cool Emirates business class return flight from Milan to JFK on their A380, which has an onboard lounge and bar that we get access to there. So that is going to be a lot of fun. Now, we definitely redeemed a good amount of our credit card points in order to book all those things, but like I've been documenting on this channel over the past few years, I'm always opening new credit cards and then taking advantage of sign-up bonuses and the spending multipliers there to earn a lot of those points. And that is going to lead me to the second piece of our 2025 2-player credit card strategy, which is to now slow down with me opening up new credit cards and now focus on my wife, Jackie, opening more cards instead. 2025 is going to be where we really start to increase her credit card activity in this whole 2-player setup. So right now she's got the Chase trifecta of the Sapphire Preferred, Freedom Flex, and Freedom Unlimited, along with the Venture X and a few other cards. But I really think there's still so much potential out there for her to get a few new cards to really refresh a lot of our points balances and replace a bit of what we just redeemed. The way it usually seems to work with two-player setups is that you probably have one person that just got obsessed with credit cards and traveling on points, and then you probably have the other person who's just kind of along for the ride, but then slowly maybe gets more and more into it over time. That's basically what happened with me and Jackie, because I definitely got obsessed with the whole credit card game back in maybe 2019, and then I started getting all these credit cards in the mail, and Jackie would look at me like I was crazy. But then eventually I got her on some business class flights, and we got some free hotel stays out of that stuff, so she started getting more and more interested, and now at this point she's pretty much just spoiled and never wants to go back to economy. So in order to keep up with our travel plans beyond 2025, what we're going to start having her do is maybe look into some Chase Inc. business cards, maybe some Amex credit cards, some Citi credit cards, and a few others. And I think when I start doing my wallet update videos over the next year, what I'm going to do is call them what's in our wallet instead of just what's in my wallet now. So if you haven't already, then make sure to go ahead and subscribe down below so you don't miss any of those update videos. Now, one of the other parts to our two-player setup is having me refer her when that's an option, so that way we can earn some extra referral bonuses in the process. And I've said this before, but I'll say it again here. If you're running a two-player setup like us, then you should always be looking to refer your player to using your own personal referral links first. You can obviously use my affiliate links in other situations, which I always appreciate, or you can go out and use any other links when it makes sense if you want to do that. But make sure you're looking out for yourself first and don't miss out on any of that extra value from those referral bonuses in your two-player setup. Now, getting a few new cards for Jackie is probably going to be a first half of 2025 part of our plan, and that's because the third piece of our strategy here is that in the second half of 2025, we're going to likely stop applying for new credit cards for a while. The main reason for doing that is because we're obviously already in a really great place where we've opened up some of the best credit cards and then we've earned and redeemed a ton of points for travel. But one of our biggest financial goals that we have as a couple has always been to actually buy a house. Right now, we've been fine with renting because it does work out pretty well within our budget from a cash flow perspective, but we've always wanted to be able to buy a nice home to just grow into over the years with a yard, a nice neighborhood, and all that good stuff. So right around the second half of 2025, I'm expecting we're just going to stop applying for any new credit cards to essentially eliminate any new hard inquiries on our credit reports for a while. That way we can put ourselves in the best position possible as we start just shopping around and applying for a mortgage in late 2025 or likely early 2026. In the long run, opening credit cards and then using them responsibly has definitely been a very, very good thing for our credit scores because it's given us more available limits, which then lowers our credit utilization. And as we've made more and more on-time payments with each additional account we have, over time, those on-time payments have also positively affected our scores because it proves we can pay things back on time. However, in the short term, opening new credit cards does cause a small drop in your score with those hard inquiries, and it can also bring down your average age of credit and then show up as a new account on your credit report, which might look a little bit less than ideal to lenders during the whole mortgage application process. So by just eliminating new credit cards in the later half of 2025, we're going to hopefully put ourselves in the best position possible to get the best rates and terms for buying a house. Now, that's going to lead me to the fourth piece of our whole credit card strategy, which is going to be to optimize the credit cards we have in our core setup. And that's going to involve Jackie and I focusing on really just making sure that we're using the very best credit cards possible in every single transaction on both the personal side of things and the business side of things, especially when we're not earning as many sign-up bonuses throughout 2025, like I just said. On the personal side of things, that probably means we'll be using the Built MasterCard for our rent payments until we buy a house to earn 1x back on rent. We'll use the Amex Gold Card for grocery and restaurant spend to earn 4x back on that. We're going to use the Citi Custom Cash to earn 5x back on gas. We'll use the Amex Platinum to book flights at 5x back on that, and then 3x back on any other miscellaneous travel with my Sapphire Reserve card. We're also probably going to use either the Venture X or the Chase Freedom Unlimited to earn 2x or 1.5x back on everything else as a catch-all card, and then we'll just fill in the gaps where it's needed with other credit cards. And again, I'll update you guys on all that stuff with future What's in Our Wallet videos. Now, another reason that we've been able to earn more credit card points lately is just because we've noticed that over the past few years, our budget has definitely increased a little bit compared to where it was back in 2019 when we got started with the whole credit card game. And part of that's been from inflation, but honestly, that's also been due to our combined income as a couple increasing over time, which has been nice and definitely has allowed us to have a little bit more room to spend on stuff like travel after we've taken care of stuff like investing and saving. We're super fortunate for that, and we've both worked really hard and taken on a lot of risk as well. But also on top of our personal spending, there has been a lot more business spend as well lately, and I anticipate that's going to continue on in 2025, sort of as my media business continues to expand and grow with this YouTube channel, my newsletter, and some other cool stuff that's coming soon. So again, business spending has really been sort of a powerful way to amplify our ability to earn even more credit card points every year. And the fifth part to my strategy also has a lot to do with this business spending, specifically around something that some business owners like to do with credit cards around tax season, and that is to strategically pay pay taxes with a business card. Now, when you make a payment to the IRS with a credit card, there is going to be a processing fee of at least 1.82% depending on your payment processor. But two ways to offset that fee are either by taking advantage of a large sign-up bonus on a new credit card, or by using a business credit card payment to get an extra benefit or something like that provided by that card after reaching certain spending milestones. So there's a few business credit cards out there with big welcome offers where the return on spend from a sign-up bonus on that card might be upwards of 10 to 20% or higher, which greatly outweighs that 1.82% processing fee. But what I'm leaning towards right now, and I want you guys to let me know what you think of this down below in the comment section because this could change. Well, what I'm thinking about doing right now is using my Chase World of Hyatt business credit card to pay some of those taxes to get a head start on earning Hyatt Globalist status for the next year. With the Hyatt business card, for every $10,000 that I spend on that card, I can earn 5 qualifying night credits, and I have a good idea of how much my tax bill might be. So if it makes sense here, then this could be a very good way to help me reach the 60 required nights in a calendar year to renew my globalist status a lot faster versus actually staying 60 nights. This card also already earns 1x Hyatt point per dollar on everything, which I value at 2 cents per point. So that's 2% back in value, which already offsets that 1.82% fee. And then the qualifying nights would be sort of just a bonus here. So to me, that makes a lot of sense. But again, this isn't going to be something that works out for everyone. So you really got to run the numbers for yourself. Now, if this whole strategy sounds a bit too complicated and you would just prefer a much more simple credit card strategy that still earns you a ton of rewards for a lot less effort than I'm doing, then make sure you go ahead and check out this video over here on the screen next. That's going to go over the 6 credit cards that I'd recommend getting to maximize every single dollar you spent without getting any more cards after that. But as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.